When we left things off, last time we talked, Herbert Hoover was the president in office, and he was on his way out because he was so unpopular with the American public. Many of the public thought that he was not doing enough to try and pull America out of the slumps. Herbert Hoover, he's going to be replaced by FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And Roosevelt has a completely different idea of how government should be involved in business affairs and the economies. Roosevelt, he believed that increased government spending was the way to pull America out of these slumps. A lot of FDR's ideas were supported by the theories of British economist John Maynard Keynes. And John Maynard Keynes believed that governments could limit or even prevent an economic downturn simply by spending money. If a government could give money to help stimulate an economy, it's going to do great things. Factories could hire more workers, and those workers would receive a steady paycheck, and they could spend their own income to help drive the economy even further. This increased government spending seemed to help the United States economy some. However, the Great Depression is going to linger on throughout the 1930s, and there's still going to be a lot of work that still needs to be completed. So around this time, we're going to kind of shift gears here and look at what the world's experiencing around the same time. Really, any country, that's John Maynard Keynes there, that British economist. But in 1929, any business outside of the United States, any country that's engaging with America, they're going to start to feel some of the effects of the Great Depression as well. American businesses were responsible for much of the world's industrial output. America was also one of the world's leading importers and lenders of money. We were sending a lot of goods to other countries, and other countries, they were sending a lot of goods our way. So, events affecting the American economy were sure to have an impact on other countries. And the Great Depression, it's not going to be simply contained to the United States. It's going to soon spread around the world. Some areas of the world were having economic difficulties even before the American stock market crashed in 1929. In Europe, most countries were still struggling to recover from the effects of World War I. In Great Britain, for instance, they were a former ally of the United States. They were deeply in debt to the United States. Great Britain had to pay high interest rates in the late 1920s that led to decreased spending and high unemployment. The losers of the war, Germany, they were forced to pay those steep war repayments or reparations, and this is going to lead to severe inflation. It's going to cripple the German economy, and it's going to make German money virtually worthless. And the Japanese, they soon faced a severe depression in 1927, forcing many banks to close. For others, the Great Depression was just the latest in a long series of crises. So before things got so bad, before FDR was in office, back when President Hoover was in charge, he signed a tariff called the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act. And he signs this in 1930 before he leaves office. And what this act does, it places heavy taxes on imported goods in an attempt to encourage Americans to buy goods and products that were made in the United States. These goods would be cheaper than the imported goods that could be received from, let's say, France or Great Britain. So this tax, it didn't really sit well in the eyes of other nations, and it's going to cause other countries to increase their own tariffs on American goods, making American products more expensive in other countries. With this back and forth, world trade is going to slow down to a standstill, and it's going to further cripple many nations. As trade slowed, it's also going to cause the prices for trade goods to collapse, hurting many specific industries. All right, that'll wrap things up for notes today. We'll see you in class tomorrow. Have a good night.